It's cozy season. You need blankets, pillows. You need mugs. You need
You know what I want?
tea koozie. What's your cozy season must-haves?
Holiday themed glasses and dishware. You know, I finally got my little Christmas plates that I've wanted for years and years and years last Christmas. I want like some sort
It's
of
not
like
my culture, but
I know it's
respect
not your culture, but I want more like Christmassy drinkware, plateware.
Okay, well, you know a great place to get that.
Wayfair.
Yeah, you gotta be stocking up at Wayfair.
I'm stocking up at Wayfair.
Because not only are you going to get the cozy items that you so desire, but you're going to get great deals on the cozy items you so desire. Because Wayfair has great deals on things your home actually needs, especially before the holidays. They have everything from sofas to spatulas. You name it, they have it. They also have styles you can't find anywhere else. No cookie cutter stuff that everyone else has, so you can make your home way more you. Right now, you can shop Wayfair's insane holiday deals and get up to 70% off during their Black Friday deals.
You know what items I'm all ready for thanks to Wayfair?
What items?
Christmas napkins. It sounds silly, but I want them and I like them.
Get them.
Christmas, they've got little Christmas trees on them.
Get
and
them.
They're napkins.
Just
okay?
just have me over and make cookies.
And you'll go, not my culture, when you like wipe your mouth, but that's fine. That's
no,
totally
I'll say
fine.
these are gorgeous.
Thank you. Don't miss out on saving big with Wayfair this holiday. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday deals. That's WAYFAIR.com.
You will dream it.
Yo, they wanna know.
Hey,
Mia.
hey,
Mia.
hey. I want to be famous.
Welcome to Who Weekly, the podcast where you'll learn everything you need to know about the celebrities you don't. I'm Bobby Finger.
I'm Lindsay Weber.
Quickly, buy tickets to our live shows. Tour still happening. WhoWeekly.us. We're coming to the Midwest. We're coming to the West. We're coming to the South. It's going to be great. My voice sounds terrible because I have a cold.
Future Lindsay here. It was not a cold.
More importantly, there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. I just sound like this today.
No one's trying to be you. Live your truth.
But I really want to play this clip from Tyler Henry, the medium. The medium, doing a read of Jerry O'Connell.
Oh my God, that's so real. He went from doing readings to doing a read. It's a read, sweetie.
It's a read, sweetie. Here's Tyler Henry, who is a scam artist.
No,
telling
stop.
Jerry O'Connell.
Say allegedly.
Allegedly.
You don't have to
Here's
say that.
Tyler Henry, who is allegedly a total fraud and scam artist.
Reading.
Who allegedly lies about every single fucking thing that he says about these people.
Here he is reading the House Down Boots, Jerry O'Connell.
This sounds so left field, but any tragedies around trains or any situations I'm hearing choo-choo,
Oh my gosh.
I sound like a lunatic, but it
No,
keeps coming
you're
in.
absolutely right. This is.
Does that?
Do you want me to elaborate on this, or do you
know what the choo-choo
Yes,
thing is?
I do.
The only way to describe it is this feeling of this death. I hear choo-choo, and then a
Yes.
feeling of how do we move forward, and like family forever changed, not being able to have the tools to really bring closure to the situation. People moving on with that person who passed that way. There's just kind of the sense of like taking things down or not being able to like.
He always uses the same phrasing, like
Such a liar.
how do I get a sense of family not being able to move forward,
Yeah,
changes
it's like
being made,
Closure.
the
There's no
way
closure.
that he speaks is so unique, though. Like, I know you really don't like him. I like him more than you. And I also am like total fraud, but I have a real fondness for him because I do think that he, between like the scribbling, I think he's really created his own language of this, which I find very charming, where he is able to, it's even hard to do an impression of because it's so unique, where he's like,
Don't bring up the scribbling.
I'm getting a sense of like wooga. Can you let me know like what, like a wooga, like a wooga.
Oh, like a wooga and like a la 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 la. Was a grandfather, a
like
great grandfather
smushed
killed
by an anvil.
by a giant coyote that was driving a Model T? Perhaps?
I'm feeling kind of a heaviness, almost like a giant anvil has fallen on my head. I know that's so silly and like I might be off track, but like it's because, like John Edwards used to only be like, the name starts with J. Tyler Henry is giving a full sequence of events. He's giving sounds and smells.
They're doing different things. John Edwards was doing the what do you call that, cold reading?
He was fishing. Yeah, he was going J,
Fishing.
anyone with a J, anyone with an L, L, M, P, Q, R.
Death by anvil, death by
T,
piano,
yo, V.
death by piano, death by tongue. What?
No, Tyler's like typing into google.com, Chriselle Stouse tragedy.
Yes. I do believe, though, because I did this when Tyler Henry's show was on TV. I would watch the clips and then I would Google to see how much was publicly available. And it wasn't always publicly available. Often it was. But with Jerry O'Connell's grandfather's brother who was killed by a train, and apparently that created some sort of horrendous generational trauma that exists through this day.
Choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
Oh my gosh.
I could not find any stories about the Choo-choo killing it, but that doesn't mean anything. That just means that Tyler Henry has a really, really dedicated research team. They're going to libraries, okay?
However he did it, getting Tyler Henry to say choo-choo, does that mean anything to you? And then it does. And then Jerry O'Connell's like, oh my God, my grandfather's brother was hit by a train, a terrible train accident that changed the nature of our family. I mean, that is,
and
it's rich.
Jerry O'Connell's grandfather was the mayor of Jersey City.
Did you find this out?
That's on Wikipedia.
Oh, so then it's
he's
easy
a prominent,
to find out the rest.
He's a prominent person.
Yes.
So you can just go into the archives in like Jersey City and find out that his brother died.
Either way.
I found his brother's gravesite, okay? He died in his 30s.
You don't need to do the research. Tyler already did it. He's speaking to the ghost.
I just want to know how much is just there for the taking. No cell on my body believes that he's speaking to a ghost. I'm just like, I need to know how you're doing this.
What if I told you I believed it?
I think we'd have to have a long conversation off mic, Lindsay.
We'd
have to have a long conversation off mic.
What if I was fully on board and believing everything?
First of all,
Tyler
I know
Henry
for
was...
a fact that you're not.
Listen, I just think his flourish and his con artistry is talent, and that's more what I'm kind of like looking at.
Tragedies around trains or any situations I'm hearing choo choo.
Oh my gosh.
I sound like a lunatic, but it
No,
keeps coming
you're
in.
absolutely right. This is...
You're listening to Who's There, a weekly call-in show where we take your questions, comments, and concerns at 619 Who Them. Let's start with some comments. Oh my God, the number of people who called about Survivor. I was like, well, we got to play one of them.
Hey, Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy. I am, of course, calling about the new It couple, Amanda Probst and Austin Lee Kuhn. I just wanted to give some more context for the statement from them that you guys read. When he says, I'm sure this is a surprise given how season 45 ended, that is because that season ended with Austin coming in second to Dee Valladares, who he was in a pretty steamy and adorable showmance with. The two of them were a really dominant duo in a very strong alliance of four. And I think many would agree that Bull on the jury chose Dee over Austin because he really didn't have any secrets from Dee, but she made a few strong moves without including him that he wasn't even aware of until the very last moment. It was a very dramatic reveal that she made. They really gave the sense that they were really into each other on the island, and it was really cute. But as soon as the season aired, in all their exit press, they were being pretty vague about if they were still together, and it was kind of just giving, like, we don't live in the same state, and please respect our privacy was kind of their vibe. But Dee is really cool. All the gay guys that I watch Survivor with would agree she's one of the strongest, most well-rounded players and winners of the new era. Yeah, mostly I wanted to say I feel like Austin, as someone who was in a pretty popular showmance who came in second and is also, like, hot, I feel like he had a really good shot at playing again. Season 50 is going to be all returning players. But I feel like dating Amanda Probst probably disqualifies him. So interesting if he is willing to sacrifice another shot at $1 million. He must really care about her, and that's really cute. But anyway, showing whole Leanne Cuisine.
That last bit was not mentioned by a lot of the callers, and I think it's one of the more important aspects of this, which is that, like, I was, like, trolling some Survivor message boards and Reddits, and people were talking about Dee and Austin, and, like, they had this showmance, and then he's dating the niece now or whatever. A lot of people are like, oh, he's trying hard to get on Survivor 50. He's trying hard to get on Survivor 50. Now he's guaranteed to be on Survivor 50. But this caller's like, this may in fact disqualify him because he's dating the host's niece.
It's true. So he's not trying that hard.
So he's not trying that hard. He just wants love over money.
Anyways, I'm watching this season. I mean, I haven't watched yet, but I am watching this season. I'm getting involved
Yeah.
It's time for me to get involved.
It's time for me to get involved.
I'm stepping up.
Okay, next call about a television show, a long-running television show.
Hi, Bobby Lindsay Timmy, long time. Sorry, I'm walking. There's a lot of cars. I don't know that there's I don't even know if you care about this. I don't know if there's a scientific answer to your question about leaving SNL early, but as an SNL mega fan, I do think that 3 seasons is the dividing line. I think if you stay for 4 or more seasons, it's not considered early, and there is a reason, and that's because the first 2 seasons you're there, you're a featured player, and then on your 3rd season, you're generally upgraded to a repertory player. So only being a repertory player for 1 season would be kind of considered an early exit because you have to put in your time to get promoted to the main cast. But again, it's not a science. This is my theory. Okay, Quinn friends, love you. Bye.
I love a theory like this just because, I love an opinion that's so fun to me. So this person is I'm an SNL super fan, and the reason why leaving early after 1 year is so kind of it's a break, and the make or break is because you leave as a day player versus being a repertory. I forget which use there's
Repertory,
terminology, but you don't get bumped up to being main cast. So you kind of do leave with a blip. My thing is in my mind, SNL doesn't make you famous if you leave early. It's just that their casting is really good. So therefore, they catch people who were already on their way up.
On the way up.
So in the case of, let's say, Jenny Slate, where it's she left after 1 season, I don't think SNL probably helped, but I think she would have gotten there no matter what. Because of and the way that they found her was because she was already in that trajectory. So it's hard to say whether somebody who's been on 1 season of SNL and then gets big, it's because of SNL. Because it's just it's not a fair scientific assessment. There's just, it's not, you know what I mean?
Because then you have people who almost made it there. I think about Tim Robinson too. Sorry, where it's Tim Robinson was a huge flop on SNL, but now he's making moves all over Hollywood. You know,
a huge sleigh, right?
Netflix, HBO, independent film. It's all happening for Tim Robinson, but it took a while. You know, post SNL, it took a while.
Well, it wasn't the right fit for him or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's hard to say you need to be there for 3 years to make any sort of impact. I totally get that.
Or to leave with the right amount of fame.
You still might not make an impact. But yeah, totally. Yeah.
Let's move on to normal questions.
Hey, BLT, long time. I have an Emmys question for you. So I was thinking about it, and really my question is, can winning an Emmy make you a them anymore? I feel like it did at one point, but especially with streaming and just the amount of television there is out there, it seems to me like you're either already a them and winning an Emmy, might increase your prestige, but it doesn't move you from who to them, or you're a who and you win an Emmy and, you're a them to people who watch your show, but you're still a who more broadly. So is this, no longer a path to graduation? Was it ever a path to graduation? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Crunch.
No, winning an Emmy doesn't make you a them anymore.
Did it ever?
Well, I was looking through the history of the Emmys, obviously, and then I was thinking about how, television is fractured over the many, many decades of the Emmys history, where it's whatever. And I think that back in the day, typically, if you won an Emmy, you were already a them.
Right.
Because there were 3 TV channels.
There were 4 shows and they were all Seinfeld. Right. So it's
But no, I'm thinking about the 60s and the 70s too, where it was there just wasn't much.
Right. That's a very good point. The TV landscape wasn't so varied. So it's it wasn't you got to watch a beef. It was just we're all watching Seinfeld. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the other thing is if you win an Emmy these days, and let's say you're a them now, let's look at, I'm just thinking top of mind, Jeremy Allen White. He didn't need the Emmy to become a them. That show was already really, really popular and broke through the sort of the noise of streaming and the noise of television and already made an impact.
Oh, are you watching The Bear?
It's vindicating, I guess, but I think it has nothing to do with Themdom or them status or achieving anything.
Certainly getting nominated for an Emmy does not them you at all, even close. That doesn't matter.
We'll talk about these some
Probably
of these people
to your career, but not, to the audience. What?
Right. We'll talk about these people from some of these specials and TV shows, and it's just like, I don't know that they are thems just because they won,
No.
because these
No, and
shows
that
are still
actually is
relatively small.
Proof. Right. Well, it's also like some of them are not even the star of the show, or not even the show's not even something that is like on a streamer that is popular. It's like there's so many elements of, I don't know where to watch this, or a lot of people are not watching this. It's just like loved by critics. I think that's the main thing, where now it's like the critical and the popular are so far separated versus it was always that case, but now even more so because of the nature of streaming and how it's so siloed. Like now, like you hear about shows that critics love and you're like, where the fuck am I supposed to watch that? And it is on like Showtime, and that I can only get if by a it's not just something that's added onto my cable package. I have to go like find it, or it's like on Roku, or it's it's not crazy for these shows to kind of come out of the left field and be like critical darlings. And maybe they'll get on Netflix in like 3 seasons, but like that's the issue, is it takes a while for sometimes a random thing to like come to the mainstream, like how Schitt's Creek worked, Schitt's Creek, no one had heard of it for its entire run, and then its last season was like on Netflix. Everybody was like, oh my god. So I don't know, like I think it has to do with those two things. Meanwhile, winning an Emmy for your career as an actor is huge. Maybe it doesn't make you a them, but it makes you a them to every single person in that industry, because I do think that it's like in Hollywood, your job is to know who's won an Emmy.
Oh, for sure. And you become an industry them. Absolutely.
Your number one concern is to be, Matt Bellany, and like know like the freaking football stats of all these people, like the RBIs. Like you got to know what they've won and when they won and what they won it for. So I think that like to get you in the room with people changes your life.
Yeah.
Changes your life.
And I think actually my parents watched Shogun, so they will know who these people are. But let's go back 1 year. Like when Sarah Snook won the Emmy for Succession last year, I don't think my parents were suddenly like, oh, who's this Sarah Snook woman we keep hearing about? Like, no, that didn't happen.
But it did happen with her.
But also Hiroyuki Sanada was already very
Succession.
famous.
Yeah.
Gene Smart, already famous. Jeremy Allen White, already famous.
Sure.
It's... You get what we're saying. Come on.
If you do an interesting speech, if you have an interesting moment, like we're going to get to Alex Edelman, but like if Alex Edelman had like this kind of like interesting moment up there, like that can make a difference, because like you're getting the screen time of television. If your award is being presented on live TV, so like you do have that. We'll get there. Wait, let's play the first.
Let's play the first. I like this one.
Hi, Your Weekly. I'm sure you're getting a ton of Emmys calls, but I'm just calling to say that I'm obsessed with Laraine Newman's absolute hatred for the bear, and I think I might agree with her. Anyways, crunch, crunch.
First of all, do people know that Laraine Newman, who is an SNL cast member in the 70s, 80s, early?
She's in the original SNL cast. That's why I
crazy.
put this IMDb in here. She is a character in the new movie Saturday Night.
Oh, she is. She's played by Emily Farn. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Emily Farn, who plays Laraine Newman in the new Reitman Saturday Night movie, plays the Michelle Williams character in Brokeback Mountain. And Michelle Williams iconically says, Jack Twist, Jack Nasty, you don't go up there to fish. So she plays that role.
Jack Twist. Jack Nasty.
Jack Nasty. Okay, shout out to Emily Farn. Good for you. Laraine Newman, again, comedian. She is the mother of, drumroll please, Hannah Einbinder. So Hannah Einbinder, we've talked about giving Nepo baby.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah,
I think she's like broken free of that a little bit, because people don't seem to really know or put that upon her.
Well, here's
they
the
like
issue.
her enough.
What's the antidote to being called an Nepo baby? People have to like the shit that you're in, and people love
They
hacks.
like it. People like hacks. They think she's good, et cetera, et cetera. So when the bear beat her when she didn't win, she's now been nominated 2 years in a row and hasn't won. 3 years in a row, 2 years in a row, maybe. Who deserved it? Because the actress from The Bear was in the only good episode of The Bear this season. Sorry, don't.
Oh, I've heard that. I've heard that.
It was like they did a, what do you call it, bottle episode.
Liza Colon-Zayas. Okay, everyone was talking about her. So she was nominated with her, Carol Burnett, Hannah Einbinder, Janelle James, Sheryl Lee Ralph, and Meryl Streep.
What is Carol Burnett being nominated for? We love Carol Burnett.
Palm Royale. The show that cost $100 million on Apple TV. That is like
watched. Crazy. So Laraine Newman tweets, as Emmys are live, she tweets, fuck the bear, deletes it. And then she tweets, I think The Bear is a great show, but in my honest opinion, it's not a comedy. Not even a dark comedy. And this is not the first time she's tweeted about this. Every time I think about the bear being in the comedy category for the Emmys, I can feel an ulcer developing. So obviously there's two reasons. One, you think of this woman as a comedian. Two, you think of her daughter losing an Emmy 2 years in a row. Three, I get the sensitivity on the bear not being a comedy thing because not just like, oh, is the bear a comedy? It's not funny. That's basic. What it is that Hacks is a comedy and it's about comedy. And I think that makes it even more. I think that's what I think gets people more riled up because it's like.
It's literally about comedy.
It's like if 30 Rock was competing against. What's another show that's like The Sopranos? And people were like, The Sopranos is actually funny in so many ways, which is true. The Sopranos is funny.
Yeah,
The Sopranos can be funny. Like, but if it was going up against 30 Rock, I would be like, that's not even fair because the 30 Rock is like pumping out the jokes. It's like a joke a second. It's like a totally different format. So like I do feel like they're not in the same category. These shows are probably more closer these are probably more closer connected because the Hacks, while being a comedy, is also kind of dramatic. There are dramatic moments. There's dramatic acting, whatever. And The Bear has funny moments, funny characters, also dramatic acting, whatever.
I mean, personal opinion. Also, it's just like, to me, so fucking funny. Like, it's just
it's so
funny.
It's so funny. So people kind of got mad because they were like, can you like get your mom to stop, like tell your mom to stop tweeting? But also she's a comedian. So
she's
a
comedian. She's old. It doesn't matter. It's funny.
Like, it's funny. And also she's old. And I'm just like, let her live. But the worst thing is that now it's like journalists are going around asking actors.
Is
The Bear a comedy? Is The Bear a comedy?
The like TikTok video that the LA Times released of their journalist walking down the red carpet asking everyone, is The Bear a comedy? What do you think about The Bear being a comedy? And they're asking like the cast of Hacks. I was like, this is so cruel.
It's so shady.
And then there were
I would
people
never
like
do that.
the only people who said the right thing were like Josh Jackson. And I was like, yeah, he's not on the show. He doesn't have a dog in this fight. What was he in? Fatal Attraction? He doesn't give a shit.
Yes. It is played straight by the actors, but the scenarios are absurd or heightened and geared towards calling out the absurdity of the situation, which to me is a comedy, as opposed to playing into the pathos of a situation, which is then a drama.
His shows are hilarious. He's about to be in Dr. Odyssey. He's about to be a doctor on a boat that's directed by Ryan Murphy.
Doctor, welcome aboard the Odyssey. This ship is heaven. Our mission is to preserve the dream. And that's why you're here. I'm in. Keep these dreamers safe.
Oh my, I cannot wait for that show. People are now just like normal people, like our friends are now like discovering that show's happening. Like especially during the Emmys when they were playing the ads for it.
Yeah.
People were like, what is this show? And I was like, welcome.
You don't know about Dr. Odyssey?
I was like, welcome. You don't know about Dr. Odyssey?
Don Johnson's there.
You're like, Josh Jackson is literally gonna like cure a man's like seasickness, like scurvy. Josh Jackson's like, you have scurvy. I bet the first episode someone gets scurvy or something.
All sorts of things can happen on a cruise ship. Literally everything. You could fall. You could hit your head. You could go overboard. You could drown.
Too much diarrhea.
It's everything. It's literally everything.
But what if you're sexy
allergic
and
reaction.
a doctor?
Oh, you're gonna get involved in so many weird, funny little miscommunications and mishaps. Oh, it's gonna be great. Someone on Reddit wrote, this won't be popular based on the comments, but Joshua Jackson's response that everyone is praising him is just him painting the comedy definition with an insanely broad brush to encompass the bear. And I'm just like, I felt the same way. I'm like, he was eloquent, he was articulate, but like he wasn't really saying anything.
Also, nobody wants,
which is an actor's
nobody
job.
on the red carpet's gonna say it's not a no one on the red carpet's gonna be like, I don't support the people that are not. That's just bad form. You got to be tweeting from home. You're not going to be on the carpet being a bitch. So it's like,
and I still haven't seen The Bear, so I don't know. I have no.
You'll
I have
honestly
nothing to
never
say.
know. You'll never know. One day you will watch The Bear, and you'll be like, damn, it's good. But it'll be like in 30 years. you'll have no one to talk about it with because we all will have forgotten the show.
God, what is that? Oh, it's an episode of The Simpsons. The Itchy and Scratchy movie comes out, and Homer doesn't let Bart see it, and he bans him from seeing the Itchy and Scratchy movie. And the episode ends with them like old, and he takes his dad to go see the Itchy and Scratchy like retrospective like 50 years later. And it's very sweet. And I'm just like, that's going to be me watching The Bear, me and you going into the Nighthawk and being like, now's the time. They're showing season 1 in one go. My last words are going to be, that fucking sucked. And then I'm just going to flatline.
No, I think you're going to be like, damn, I should have watched it sooner so I could have a conversation with my friends for
My number one show didn't win anything, really. So
Slow Horse.
No, the morning show. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I want to be famous.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Can't imagine it any other way. Whoweekly.us is a Squarespace. It will always be a Squarespace. We love our Squarespace.
Even if they said no more advertising on this podcast, we would still have it be a Squarespace because honestly, it's just the easiest, sanest way to have a website on the internet at this point.
Yeah. I really can't think of another option.
No, I wouldn't even know how to do another option at this point. It's like it is a perfect way. I know they have all the features I need. If there's a new feature that I need somehow in the future, I know that they're going to have it. Mm-hmm. Let's say there's something we need to do on this website that I can't even think of right now. I know that in the future
advances,
that they will have our back.
I trust that Squarespace will keep up.
Well, because right now it's like, we have our tour dates that we're able to change on a whim, which we need to. But Squarespace does plenty of other things. They've got, you could do a course, you could host a course, you could do analytics, you could do email campaigns, you can take payments, you can sell stuff. I mean, it's like
sell stuff
we could do whatever we wanted on Squarespace, and I am actually comforted knowing that I could do that in the future.
Yeah.
So head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/who and save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. That's 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Hey friends, I'm Sharon McMahon, host of Here's Where It Gets Interesting. Each week I speak with authors, experts, and thought leaders on everything from American history and democracy to how to be a better person on the internet. And don't miss my extremely popular docuseries, which educate you on things you never learned in history class. Follow and listen to Here's Where It Gets Interesting on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Love my CB distillery. It helps me sleep. I love my they're called gummies. They have gummies and gummies. The gummies don't quite put me to sleep, but the gummies do put me to sleep. And I take them most nights, to be honest.
You do. I know you do because you tell me about it every time. You're like, well, that worked. And for Bobby, nothing seems to be working. So this is an incredible breakthrough for you.
Genuinely a huge breakthrough for me. CB Distillery's targeted formulations are made from the highest quality, clean ingredients. No fluff, no fillers, just pure, effective CBD solutions designed to help support your health. In 2 non-clinical surveys, 81% of customers experienced more calm, 80% said CBD helped with pain after physical activity, and an impressive 90% among them, myself, said they slept better with CBD. So if you struggle with a health concern and haven't found relief, make the change like I did to CB Distillery. And with over 2 million customers and a solid 100% money-back guarantee, CB Distillery is the source to trust. We have a 20% discount code to get you started. Visit cbdistillery.com and use code WHO for 20% off. That's cbdistillery.com, code WHO. cbdistillery.com.
I want to be famous.
Hey, Lindsay, Bobby, and Timmy, long time. Who is Alex Edelman? He is halfway to an EGOT, so I figured we got to know about him. Crunch, crunch, me at home.
Oh. And the Emmy goes to Alex Edelman. Alex Edelman Just for Us. This is the first Emmy win and nomination for Alex Edelman.
Okay. Hi, Steve. Okay. Thank you so much for this. This is, oh God, I'm gonna cry in front of Carol Burnett. Fantastic. All right.
What's cool about these variety specials is that now include stand-up comedy and theater stuff that's transferred. And now that stand-up comedy that is now kind of like storytelling, Mike Birbiglia style, the Moth style is now more popular. A lot of these shows are like either going to Broadway or going to Broadway and getting like picked up as specials, and then they get nominated for Emmys because they're technically on televised or whatever. That rocks. Like in this category, you literally had Alex Edelman with Just for Us. You had Jacqueline Novak, which was one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. And you had John Early, whose show also fucking rocked, was on HBO, and Declan's was on Netflix. So it's like, that's really cool. Like that to me is awesome. I mean, who is Alex Edelman? That's what's kind of crazy. He's just like a comedian.
He's Hannah
guy.
Einbinder's ex.
Yeah, that's also crazy.
He's Laraine Newman's daughter's ex.
He literally dated Hannah Einbinder for a long time.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, I thought she was queer. She is.
Yeah, she's queer. You can be queer and date Alex Edelman, please.
You definitely can. You definitely
You can be queer and date Alex Edelman. I'm sorry.
The show was good. I liked his show.
I have a high bar to like watch like comedy specials. Like I really need to be locked in and I need to be a fan of the person.
I saw it off Broadway.
Okay.
I saw it live. I think that's for me the kind of,
Because you had pressed me on Jacqueline Novak for so long, and I was familiar with her, and I liked her. Loved that.
It's giving kind of like what's their face? Hannah Gadsby. Where's Hannah Gadsby?
Where are you?
Where is Hannah Gadsby? We haven't heard from Hannah Gadsby in a while. Remember when the name on everybody's lips was Hannah Gadsby?
Truly,
and we were like,
the name
stop.
on everybody's lips was Hannah Gadsby.
Hannah Gadsby.
I'm sorry. I just went to Hannah Gadsby's. Hold on. I went to their Instagram.
They're doing stuff, aren't they?
No, their username is Hannah_Gadsby.
Sure.
And then the bio says Dr. Hannah Gadsby. Where have I been?
Okay, so they got their literal medical degree while we were like, where's Hannah Gadsby? Doctor of what?
Why did they get a doctorate in? I mean, whatever. If I had an honorary doctorate, I'd ask everyone to call me doctor. So I allow you to do this.
Okay,
Hannah Gadsby.
so there really is nothing else to know about Alex Edelman. It's funny because a lot of the things I know about him are from the special, like from the show.
Oh, right,
so it's like, if you watched it, you learn his brother is a bobsled Olympian. If you watch it, you learn, he's from Boston. Like those are the things, you learn all these things about him. One time I saw him at a party. Like there's nothing else to know. It's kind of boring.
me leaving Alex Edelman on Broadway. Wow, I can't believe he's from Boston. Can you believe he's from Boston?
He's from Boston, and I saw him at a party.
Who is Nava Mau? That might not be how you say her name, but I don't know. But who is that? Please tell me. Avia Tiangan. Bye-bye.
You watched Baby Reindeer, right?
I did, yeah, I did.
And so Nava Mau is
she's good in it.
She's dating Baby Reindeer.
Wait,
while
in
he's
the
getting
show.
stalked? Yeah. In the show.
In the show, because
this is a show I kind of can't bring myself to watch.
It's hard to watch. The show he's getting stalked. That is but part of it is like his own identity because he also experienced sexual assault. So he's also kind of like figuring out how he exists in the world and like what his sexual expression is and like whatever. And so it's like he's dating a trans woman, and a lot of it is like his shame, his own shame, and like reflecting it on her essentially. And she's like, I don't have shame. Like why
are you making me feel uncomfortable?
Totally. So I feel like a lot of people talk about this show and they're just talking about like the stalker aspect. And yes, that actress is really good, and she did win an Emmy. The woman who played the stalker, she was very good. But like there's B plots that are also kind of like compelling and interesting and different, and it's like that's usually not the conversation. So I'm glad that she was nominated because it did make her character like more important on the show, kind of in retrospect.
Well, I'm glad that you said that because I was feeling the same thing. Because I was like, wait, I thought this whole thing was about a scary stalker and like it a level of darkness I didn't want to watch. And I didn't know that there was like all this other shit going on. And like I didn't know about the Nava Mau character, and I was like, okay, maybe I will watch Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, I watched it because I really wanted to see, and I ended up not seeing it. I don't know how to see it, but I want to see his one man show, what inspired it, because like this was another kind of God, what's her face, freaking jumpsuit lady.
Wait, what?
Fleabag. What's her name again?
Oh,
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Okay, in my mind, it's like that jumpsuit. Okay,
yeah.
That show her show that inspired Fleabag. I got the chance to see live, like randomly. Was very lucky,
like
and
before
loved,
the show.
Yeah, and like loved the kind of seeing the like adaptation of the show into a show. So it's like, okay, cool. I want to like watch this because I want to go back and like see a show and like see how they did it and like what came from where and like how, because the TV shows are good, but kind of the one man aspect of telling a story that is so rich and good that it ends up being able to be made into a show is so much more to me like impressive.
I've also never watched Fleabag. You know this. It's fine.
Oh, Fleabag is so good.
Let's just not.
That to me is like even crazier than The Bear. Like Fleabag rocks.
My TV consumption has been so wonky my whole life, but especially lately. Like
I know.
I watched all of A Perfect Couple over 2 days. I was sick,
but
the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, and I watched 6 episodes of it. Do you want to know who did it? No, actually, I'm going to make it a Patreon thing tomorrow. I actually have a
Okay,
game
let's talk
plan.
about it tomorrow because I do know who did it because I watched one episode, said I will not be watching this, and I looked it up.
So fucking
stupid.
funny.
So fucking stupid.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm saying Fleabag is so good.
Nava Mau was
Fleabag is so
nominated alongside Jessica Gunning, also from Baby Reindeer. She won.
Yeah.
Then Dakota Fanning was there.
His speech was so good because he was like, it's so crazy that this show like even got here. And it's like, that's true. It is crazy considering.
They are all so random.
The show is random.
Like Nava Mau, her biggest thing before this was being on Generation, which was that HBO flop.
I know.
And-
it really was. I wanted to like that.
But she's like not a them by any means. So she's like working her way through the industry and is acting and stuff. She's producing and stuff. She's like doing like production assistance on stuff.
Well, what's cool
And
is
just,
that she was a production fellow on Disclosure, which was that big documentary
Yes.
about trans people being more in media.
And she's from San Antonio, which I love.
Love that.
Has sort of been like chugging along in
Yeah.
Hollywood for over a decade. I was crying when I was reading this profile of her in Elle because it was like, after completing work on a few short films, Mao was couch surfing in Los Angeles when she received a suspicious DM on Instagram from a random account offering her an audition. The message included a typo, so she figured it was spam. But like many hungry actresses, she was eager enough for a lead that she sent over her email address. As it turns out, the message was more than legitimate. It was an offer to audition for the HBO Max show Generation. And I was like, that says a lot
God.
about Generation and and why that show didn't last as long as
Says
it
a lot
did.
about who was the creator. I felt like that show I got really excited about, and then it was bad, and I was so upset.
It was
had
the
a-
Nepo. It was the Nepo show. Remember, father-daughter duo, Zelda and Daniel. Yes, Zelda Barnes and Daniel Barnes. It was
and wasn't Justice Smith in it? And we were like,
Yes.
we stand Justice Smith because
We
of
stan
Detective
Justice Smith.
Pikachu. Yeah.
Daniel Barnes was like a showrunner or like a TV writer, movie writer. Directed that movie Cake with Jennifer Aniston, which like people thought would give her an Oscar, but then everyone was like, "What are you talking about? This
Yeah,
movie
'cause
sucks."
she was like, I'm ugly.
Yeah. Generation comes out. He co-created it with his daughter. Do you remember this? We talked
yeah.
about this in 2021.
No, truly. Because people did think this was going to be a thing. And also, this was like post-Euphoria. This was like a Euphoria.
And they brought
kind
up,
of-
it was like they were trying to do a new Euphoria because they brought in Martha
Yeah.
Plimpton.
They always are.
They had Timmy's fave, Chase Sweet Wonders was there.
Oh, of course.
But Nava
Of
Mau
course.
was one of the leads of the show, along with
okay.
Justice Smith. To go back to the conversation that we started with, which was, does winning an Emmy make you a them?
No.
No.
Yeah.
But obviously what it does is make Nava Mau a them to everyone in the fucking...
Yeah, it gets you cast in
just
the, new
the
season
nomination, and she didn't
of
win.
You. One episode of the new season of You. No, I think obviously she was in this episode before she won this Emmy,
Yes.
but she taped.
And now that I know that she's in it, I'm actually intrigued to watch Baby Reindeer. So, yay.
You'll never watch Fleabag, but or The Bear, but you will watch Baby Reindeer.
Whatever. Let's just move on.
Hi, Weekly. Long time since the dawn of time. Charlie Puth is married. A few questions here. Is Charlie Puth, who are them? I saw the pictures and I didn't even know that that's what he looked like. So I'm thinking who. And then second question, who's his wife? Is she anyone of note? Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Listen, we've talked about Charlie Puth's new wife, Brooke Sansom, aka Brooke Puth. Say,
I can't believe she's Brooke Puth now.
Brooke Puth. There's something kind of the way that we're so used to Charlie Puth's name being Charlie Puth, that a new person's name being Puth, it sounds
reminds
like
you. It
so
reminds you of how
wild.
crazy his name is.
Brooke Puth. Brooke Puth. Mrs. Puth. Miss Puth.
That's Mrs. Puth to you.
That's Mrs. Brooke Puth to you. They got married, shockingly, in Montecito at his family
His
house.
Yeah.
And what's cute about them, but also makes it just kind of boring, is that they've known each other for a long
Their
time.
whole
they grew
lives,
up together.
basically.
We talked about her. I guess they were friends for a long time. Then one day it was like, oh, damn, we should date. And then they dated, and then they got engaged, and now they're married, and they're both from New Jersey. And literally that's it. It's like, it's so boring. Like, she's beautiful. She's kind of modelly. Again, not really sure like what her job is. Didn't someone pull up her?
We found her LinkedIn. But it's
She's
a
a
little
digital
old.
marketer and PR
Yeah.
coordinator at Butter and Egg Interiors, or she was at one
She
point.
was.
Maybe she doesn't have to work anymore, just to guess. But like, There is like a funny old tweet of her dad being like, my friend's son Charlie Puth on the red carpet at the Grammys. Very cool stuff. And a great kid. This was in 2014. So it's like, it is kind of like, oh, we went on vacation together so many years. And these kids were always like fated to get together. And they just like kind of never did. They're very much the stuff of romance novels. But they got married. It was in Vogue. What I loved about the Vogue piece was it was all her talking. Like, even though she's clearly the not kind of, like, she's great, but she's not Charlie Puth.
Of course.
The reason why it's newsworthy is because it's Charlie Puth, right? But the entire article is just like her voice, her interview, whatever. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's very like heteronormative to be like, it's the bride's wedding. She planned it.
Yeah.
You know?
I went to her Instagram and I
He
found.
wasn't involved.
Do you see that thing on the screenshot that we have that says like her bio is just another Instagram account at the closet next door? I was like, oh, is this her business? But it's just like,
what is it? Well, she rebranded her Instagram to Puth Brooke.
Yeah, it's
Puth
Brooke.
Puth.
It's weird. It's just like a basically outfit inspo. It's sort of like a mood board for like outfits you can put together. Like, here's like well curated outfits, and then she links out to where all these things are.
So
but
she's
it's like,
like
are you
doing
making money
fashion
on this?
stuff.
I don't know. Anyway, he's off the market. Love him.
He's hungies no more. He's been satiated.
I saw a viral tweet of someone retweeting Charlie Puth, like a wedding announcement from Popquave or something. And they quote tweeted with the iconic screenshot of Britney Spears finding out that Ryan Seacrest isn't gay. And I was like, no. I was like, where have you
Come
been?
on.
No, Charlie Puth is not gay. No. And I'm the first person to call someone gay.
You really are. Yeah, he does not give that energy.
No,
like he's a
not at all.
soft boy. He's a soft boy for sure. But
He gives, oh, my wife. He really does. Like, he does.
No, totally.
My girl.
No, he is being so nice to you at a party, but then being like, my girlfriend I've dated for 25 years. And you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
You know? And you're like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, you meet him at a party and you're like, is this going somewhere? And it
And then
absolutely
he's
is
like,
not. And then
"My
you're like,
wife."
well, of course, am I a fucking idiot? Of course it wasn't going anywhere. It's Charlie fucking Puth.
Right. No, it's of course. And you're like, where's Brooke Sansom tonight? And he's like, you mean Mrs. Puth? And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Oh, Brooke
Where's
Puth, my wife?
Where's Mrs. Puth?
Brooke Puth, my wife.
Can we...
Hi, BLT, long time. I am just calling to see if you guys can talk about the Dare. Who is he? I feel like I have seen him online, but I keep seeing his suit and tie everywhere, and would just love if you guys could talk more about him. I think he's reached Themdom now. So just don't want to Google. Would rather hear you guys talk about him. But anyway. Tim Tebow lesbian, crunch. Bye.
As someone who like really very much lived through, Bobby did too, the kind of indie sleaze era as like almost as like a 18 to 24-year-old person, which is kind of like the ideal age. And I went to NYU. That wasn't really I wasn't that cool. But I'm saying like all the bands and all the vibe and like the skinniness and the little tie and like all that. It is wild to see like this pastiche back in action from someone that is so like that's cool again, basically. That's cool and without irony, and it doesn't have as much irony as you would think. I think that's kind of like what makes it
tolerable.
And he's getting the right like name checks and like shout outs from people who are cool, like Charlie, who are seeing it as like not embarrassing and seeing it as like a full circle and being like it's just people having fun and like people just want music they can have fun to and dance to and like rave to. And this is like what this is, because this guy essentially like was in a kind of
bad band.
He went to Lewis and Clark and started a band called Turtlenecked. And if you listen to their music, you're like, oh, this is so funny because this is what the music that he like kind of really wants to make, but like no one wants to hear this. And there's so many bands like this. And then as a joke, he like wrote a silly song and then was like, oh, I have a persona. Oh, now my persona is the Dare, where I like wear sunglasses and a suit.
And a black suit with a skinny black tie.
And every song sounds kind of like the same, but if you see it live, it's hype.
It's hype.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
not that I have. I haven't seen him live. But I will say a friend of ours whose music taste I trust so much and works in the industry, about it a year or two ago, it was the night that I saw Titanic. I asked her, like, who are the artists that you're excited about? And she was like, oh, the Dare. And I was like, okay. Like you're, you know what I mean? Like, oh, everybody, she was like, basically everybody wants to sign the Dare.
Right. There was a bidding war. He writes about this he spoke about this in his GQ profile. He's like, the person says, I asked him what it was like to be pursued by record execs. Quote, it was really crazy, Smith says. Again, his name's Harrison Smith. I went to a lot of lunches. I think I went to every single Keith McNally restaurant twice. Republic Records ended up signing him, and they released his first EP and his first album, which just came out like last week.
This guy has been bubbling up for so long, and now the Charlie getting big and him producing the guest remix that then had Billy, that then went number one because of Billy, let's not lie. And that is what's getting him now this new, and then he has a new album out, and I think people are very much like, who the fuck is this? Fair.
I like the girls that do drugs, girls with cigarettes in the back of the club, girls that hate cops and bad guns, girls with no buns, girls that's mean just for fun. I like girls who make love, but I love girls who like to fuck. That's what's up.
I was resistant to like the Dare because I was like, this is so irritating to me. Like, whatever you're doing, like knowing that it's essentially drag and knowing the background of like, oh, I was in this band and then I did this as a gag and now I'm kind of stuck doing it. I was like, I don't like this. But when you listen to the music, it is so, like Lindsay said, I think we are just in the perfect sweet spot of having like come of age when the Rapture was big. I listen to this and I'm like at a very cool party when I'm 19 years old, like in a co-op building in West Campus of Austin.
I just can't hate it because it makes me feel young or something.
It does.
And I'm like, it makes me think of like the bands that I loved in college and like loved them so like unironically, and I'm just kind of like, cool. I'm glad that like girlies get to have that experience too or something. You know, like that's fine.
Like I don't need to go to the party where this is playing, but I'm like,
we
you're
still
probably
live in
having
New
fun.
York. I can't be mad at this. Like I still live here. It's like I didn't even move. Like I can't be mad. Like it'd be one thing if I was like, hey, yeah, and fuck NYU, fuck New York, I got out of there, whatever. Like it's like, no, I'm still like here.
And people, my favorite thing in here that I didn't know until you or Timmy put it in here was that people make fun of him because he sounds so much like James Murphy of LCD Sound System and just LCD Sound System generally that people call him STD Sound System, which is a good one. It's a good one.
It's also funny that he was like a substitute teacher in Williamsburg, like just being a normal kind of guy. And then he like put on a suit.
He was being interviewed by Zane Lowe. I watched his ass interview The Dare, which is so annoying. But then he was just like, for a while, he jungled both things. He was a substitute teacher, and then he would DJ.
For you, what drew you to teaching? I know we had talked about music, but I love the transition you've made from education to art, and I see a commonality in both, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's just like a few teachers or professors that I've had that were both artists and educators, and were also just really cool.
Yeah.
And I always kind of looked up to them for guidance and just as like a model of somebody who can like help other people either through making art or just like imparting those skills on other people. And
yes, there's a giving to it.
Yeah. And like I received that at like a young age with music and with English literature and whatnot.
I want to be famous.
I slept in a terrible bed at one of our dates this story. I won't reveal where it was because I don't want to be super rude, but the bed was absolutely horrendous. Big dip in the middle. I was always like rolling into the center. It was so bad. My back hurt so bad when I woke up. And guess what? When I got home, my favorite part of being home was getting in bed.
Yeah, you were like back into my mattress.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's a real bed that was chosen for me based on a quiz, the Helix quiz.
Right. And sometimes when people use my mattress, they're like, that's a little soft. And I'm like, yeah, it's made for me, not for you.
For you.
Which actually even drives home the fact that it's so made for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I kind of relish in the fact, I mean, I don't want my friends to be uncomfortable, but I'm like, I kind of am like celebrating the fact that it's like for my body, not for yours.
Mm-hmm. I just sleep so much better on my own mattress than literally any other mattress. And that's because Helix mattresses rock. I wake up, my back doesn't hurt. I wake up, I don't have night sweats. I wake up and I'm thrilled. I wake up and I say, I love you, Helix.
That's
so
incredible.
If you want to experience the joy that I experience every
time
I get in bed,
the
and every time I get out of bed, you should go to helixsleep.com/who because you will get 25% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase. Plus, get a free bedding bundle, which includes 2 dream pillows, a sheet set, and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order at helixsleep.com/who. That's helixsleep.com/who.
Usually we're discussing one type of aura, but today we're talking about aura frames.
Aura frames.
Because it's giving gifts season.
Especially
it's giving gifts.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday season when you can get the best deals for the gifts that you're buying people for the holidays.
And it's also just the perfect gift.
Everyone I've gotten an aura frame has been totally obsessed with it, and I include myself in that sentence.
Yeah, I love to send photos of myself to other people's aura frames.
The best thing about aura frames is if you're really good friends with the person that you give it to, which you should be, you should join their frame so you can just like surprise them with fun pictures of the two of you or random things.
Or there's random funny things that you think of to send to their frame.
And then they're like, why is that on my aura frame? And they're like, oh, my best friend added it. That's so funny. That's so cute.
It's easy to set up. It's a perfect gift for any occasion. There's free unlimited storage. It's private. And the photos, they look like real prints.
They look so nice. The screen is very, very good. My favorite thing about the aura in my bedroom is that it's light controlled.
Mm-hmm.
So at night,
goes off.
It turns off. So it's not like keeping you up.
Yes, but during the day, and sometimes after I go on a little vacation, I put all vacation photos into the frame, and I remember my little vacation.
Oh, that day. That was such a good
remember
day.
the summer.
That was such a good day. For a limited time, visit auraframes.com and get $45 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames by using promo code WHO at checkout. That's AURAframes.com, promo code WHO. This exclusive Black Friday Cyber Monday deal is the best of the year, so don't miss out. Terms and conditions apply.
You want to hear something fun about my most recent purchase from Quince?
I know what it is. So tell me again.
So I had to, I don't want to give it away. Well, I'm giving it away. I don't care. I had to replicate a gorgeous silk slip from the performance of Sunset Boulevard on Broadway in order to create my Halloween costume, which is, of course, Nicole Scherzinger in Sunset Boulevard, which involves, as Norma Desmond, you're going to get a dark wig, you're going to get some blood, but you also need a gorgeous silk slip. And I immediately said, oh, I know where to get that, from Quince, because I'm like, I know Quince will have a flattering, affordable, and comfortable, which is really the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because Halloween costumes, I'm not out here trying to wear some sort of like rayon, gross, itchy thing. Like I want a real slip. And so I went right to Quince, and they had a beautiful black slip that I bought for my Halloween costume. But you know what? I'm going to keep wearing it. It's not just going to be a costume.
I'm sure it's a beautiful, beautiful slip.
It really is. It's really going to be gorgeous.
Slip.
And they don't just have silk slips that are affordable. They also have classic fall items like sweaters.
I just bought an overshirt from them. I love an overshirt.
An overshirt,
Yeah,
really?
I love an overshirt.
It's a cozy overshirt.
It's a cozy overshirt. It's I think it's camel colored. It's a camel colored overshirt.
Really?
Kind of like a half jacket, half shirt.
Well, Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And it's not just that. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands, which includes leather jackets and cotton cardigans and soft denim and so much more.
And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And of course, premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel in every piece. So get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/who for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/who to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/who.
I want to be famous.
Hi, who did Diana Agron go to Greece with? Since he's a lesbian.
I love this call because you can hear someone laugh.
giving-
You can hear someone laughing behind them.
You know who she went to Greece with if you're asking us this question. Diana Agron, by the way.
We found it. It's Agron. Diana
Agron, who was kind of a star of one of my live pieces. But
Let's
this
answer
was-
the question before we get into the Agron
well, thank
of it
God Diana Agron Updates continues their journey on Instagram because they are Brazilian, so they were kind of kicked off Twitter, but they are going strong on Instagram. So I need to make that kind of public announcement because I think they're kind of like, everyone, I'm still here. I'm still doing the work.
I would argue they're going stronger on Instagram. I'm seeing their content more and more on our Instagram.
Are you?
Than I was on
I follow
Twitter.
them. Diana Agron went viral. That's what
Yes.
this is kind of about. Let's forget about the Greece thing for a second. She went viral because she did this event for completed works for London Fashion Week. Again, don't know what any of those words mean. Like,
It's a jewelry brand.
Great. And so she did
It's like
this interview with them.
sustainable jewelry. It says their website. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Diana Agron, and you're here with Grazia in Gordon Square in London on a beautiful, sunny and warm day we're having.
So warm.
Here
so
with
warm.
completed works.
Bit of a curveball one, but if you had a warning sign, what would it say?
Caution, pleasure seeker.
And people were like, first of all, I didn't know this many people knew what Diana Agron was supposed to sound like, basically, which is funny. It's like you tweeting this and being like, what is this accent? Is the kind of assumption that you knew what she's supposed to sound like, which like, I don't know what she's supposed to sound like. I haven't heard this woman speak in forever. She's barely in anything. That's the whole journey of her. She's always like not doing stuff.
And that's Diana Agron's number one problem with Diana Agron.
Yeah,
she's not in anything.
Diana Agron, you're saying Diana Agron Update's main problem with Diana Agron is that she's always unemployed.
In Gordon Square in London on a beautiful, sunny and warm day we're having.
So warm.
Here
so
with
warm.
completed works.
Yeah, it's giving I absolutely loathe hydrangeas. Yeah,
To
that's
be fair,
what
when
it's
I
doing.
was in Toronto, I found their cadence very catchy, and I found myself doing it.
Oh, the
to
Canadian
them.
cadence? Yeah.
Just the kind of way that a lot of Canadians speak, I found very alluring, and I kind of like would hear myself speaking that way back to them and being like, "Whoa."
Mm-hmm. She's from Savannah, Georgia, by the way. She's from a place with a very famous and obvious accent.
But she lost that accent long ago, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure she's kind of a neutral.
I'm just saying she's from a place that has an accent, that has like a notable American accent, like deep South, Savannah, Georgia.
Sure. So who was Diana Agron in Greece with? I don't really know, but if you go through Diana Agron updates, it's like everyone. Chloe Wise, Fotis Evans, Hetty Stanton.
Camille Charriere.
You know who was in Greece with Diana Agron, which I loved? Maggie Rogers. I'm like, these two are friends? Okay. Yeah. Because you know Diana Agron's thing is that she also sings. So she's like, I'm a singer.
Well, she used to sing at the Cafe Carlisle. Remember that? We've talked about this before.
You know she dated Mumford & Sons guy or was married to. Are they divorced now? Did she divorce Mumford &
They're divorced,
Sons?
yeah.
Yes.
They're divorced.
She did because he went crazy.
Yeah. They divorced like right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Great caption here. Did you see this last caption? Always in Greece and never beating the allegations that she kept Mumford & Sons in the divorce. Diana Agron partying with friends recently.
But who is she with? The easiest answer to your question is that she's with a bunch of influencers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's with a bunch of people whose job it is also to go around the world and party with brands. You know, like Diana Agron is making money during these travels. Like, don't forget that part of it.
But what I like about following up with her, like kind of keeping in touch with her through Diana Agron updates, is you're also getting updates, or I'm also getting updates from them about Twitter in Brazil. So they posted, Twitter changed its server in Brazil so they can escape from the ban. So everyone has access right now, but TBH is not worth getting back because the timeline ain't really working. You can't see any images or videos, and also because Elon Musk is a piece of shit. So hope this backfires and he gets sued again. So it's like, if you're wondering what's the update on that, it's not going well. Like people are finding ways around it. They're still figuring out how do you ban Twitter in an entire country, whatever. I mean, I guess China has figured out how to ban internet stuff before. It's not the first time, but like it's messy. So you're going to see some stuff, you're going to not see some stuff. But Diana Agron Updates is not back on Twitter. They're saying like, this is bullshit, and I'm not leaving. And then they posted this. On top of that, they posted text. They wrote also, because we have nothing else to post. Diana left London and is back to wherever she's hiding. We're not getting anything before next week. So they're like, don't worry. You're
Just
not
one of the
missing
best
anything from
attitudes.
us. Our girlie is still giving unemployed. I love them.
I love them so much. Let's play a couple more calls.
Hi, Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy. Medium time. I'm just calling because my sister and I were chatting about teeth and the tooth fairy. And she brought up the idea of your two front teeth being the most famous teeth because there's a song about them. And I was wondering if you could rank from who to them the different teeth. I guess your front teeth would be the most famous, but I feel like wisdom teeth are also pretty famous. And so would be your molars, maybe your canines. I don't know. I would love to hear your input. Thanks so much. Bye.
We're ranking teeth? Okay, there are 4. Okay, I had to look up how many types of teeth there were. There are 32 teeth. And the teeth may be divided into 4 categories. We've got incisors, canines, premolars, molars, and a wisdom.
Yeah, I just added wisdom because I think wisdom are actually technically molars.
Wisdom are molars? Okay, so can we see molars / wisdom?
They are technically molars. But let's call them wisdom because I think they're so iconic.
I do think that they're the most themy tooth because wisdom teeth are kind of just like the teeth that we're talking about that aren't, that are like causing us the most drama.
I agree. And
if you have to deal with your teeth, you do have to deal with lots of your teeth at all points. But the main teeth you'd ever have to deal with if you had no teeth issues in your whole life, you'd still have to deal with your wisdoms, which are your molars. So I think molars is the themiest.
And I think the hooiest is premolars because I never think about those.
Yeah, it's like, what are those though?
No.
Like, I don't even know.
I mean, I get it.
Premolars?
I get it grammatically,
don't
but
know
I don't really. Like
what they
between
are.
the canines and the molars.
I'm going to have to ask Dr. Dan next time I see him what
Dr. Dan.
premolars are.
After wisdom, are we
It's my
going
dentist.
molars? And then,
No, they're the same. They're the same. Wisdom/molars.
Well, wisdom/molars, but I think if we're going to separate them, I think it's
We're not,
actually
though, 'cause
wisdom.
they're the same category.
But a molar isn't a wisdom, even though a wisdom is
But
a molar. It's like
wisdoms
a
are
square and a
molars.
rectangle. Wisdoms are molars, but molars aren't wisdoms, which is why I think we just have to make maybe one bullet point A is molars.
Okay, that's fine, but to me, they're wisdom/molars because we're not, if wisdom teeth are molars, then they're the same category.
Well,
to me.
that's the problem. Wisdom teeth are molars, but molars aren't necessarily
That's
wisdom
fine
teeth.
with me. Molars are up there with thems too.
After that, do we do incisors or canines?
I think canines are way themier than incisors.
Really?
Yeah.
I always think about
know.
incisors because they're the front. They're the sharp ones.
Yeah, but I think about canines because people are always getting their canines fucked up or sharpened, or my canines. They're like, there's always something.
Oh, that's tough. Because the two front teeth are incisors. Like when people say the two front teeth.
No, I do know that, but I'm just saying I feel like canines are more in the conversation.
If the incisors were called two front teeth, do you think they'd be themier? Like if it was two front teeth versus canines, or
I mean, I guess if you're
incisors
seeing
versus
any
canines.
teeth, you're seeing your two front teeth, and then that way they're really front and center in terms of like somebody's teeth health. If you're like, oh, you have nice teeth, you're gonna see the front teeth first.
Let's just do canines. Canines, incisors, premolars.
Canines barely edge them out.
They are the sharp ones.
They're the sharp ones. They help you really like get a bite. Incisors are kind of deceptive because you think they're helping you, but they're not. They're kind of there for you to knock out. They're dangerous. They're
My incisor is what cracked,
Yeah, I also have a chip in my incisor.
I have a chipped incisor that I had to put a fake tooth on, and now I can't even bite into an apple. I haven't been able to for years because they're like, it might pop off. Well, they're always
I mean,
like,
you can,
if you bite
but-
into an apple, it's going to pop off. And I was like, well, damn it.
I also have a chip, but it's not big enough to get replaced. I fell after drinking too many margaritas on a curb.
Oh my God.
I think I was on the way somewhere where you were.
I didn't, wait, when? Was this a long time ago?
Yeah. And it's got a little chip. And then like I kind of realized, and I was in denial, and then I went to the desk and they were like, you chipped your tooth. And I was like, what? When did that happen? I knew exactly when it happened.
Mine was,
But it's kind of dulled down.
I fell in front of my apartment after like meeting up with our dentist friend. And then I got home and I was like, Dan, can you fit me in tomorrow?
Didn't you go? Right. You went right to him.
Yeah,
and
he was
had to
like,
accept.
LOL, just come in tomorrow. He fit me
Well,
in.
that's why it's good to have a dentist friend.
I know. Okay, so wisdom/molars, canines, incisors, premolars. Great.
Sure. You know what we should do?
Hmm.
Why don't you text this to Dan?
Oh, I'll text him.
I'll
Okay.
ask him next time I see him. Actually, I think I'm going to the dentist in like a week or so.
Oh,
So
good.
maybe I'll bring this up.
Don't be scared. I've done this before. Show me your teeth. Show me your teeth. Show me your teeth.
Shout out to More Famous Birthdays, our game that a wonderful hooligan turned into an actual game that you can play online. What's the URL for that?
We'll link it in the show notes
Okay, great. And what we're going to do is play the game next week.
next week, for sure.
So everyone who hates that game,
Sorry.
tune in for that.
With that, we can end. Thank you for listening to another episode of Who's There. Thank you for suffering through my cold voice. It's not COVID, it's just cold.
Future Lindsay here once again, and I'm just going to have to repeat myself. It's not just a cold. Feel better, Bobby.
Support us on patreon.com/weekly for bonus episodes, a Discord server, commentary tracks, and more. You can also get the audio only by clicking subscribe within the Apple Podcasts app. While you're there, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. We love your ratings and reviewings. Thank you to Katie and Eric of the Who's for providing our Read the Theme song on Tuesdays. Thank you to Timmy, our research and editorial assistant, for researching and editorializing. Oh my God, we'll see you Tuesday. Keep listening for Call. You're doing amazing, sweeties. Bye.
Bye.
You will, Jayla.
They wanna know.
Hey. Hey. I want to be famous.
Hi, Bobby, Lindsay, Timmy. I was walking through Soho with 3 of my Gen Z employees yesterday, and we saw Louisa Gummer.
And obviously none of them knew who she was. So she's definitely still a who. But I had to explain to them who she was. And then this one of my direct reports was like, oh, I think I met Meryl Streep's nephew at my gym, and she was telling me the story. And then I had this story unlocked in my brain, which is that I went to summer camp with Meryl Streep's niece, this guy's sister, and she stole all my friends because she was boy crazy and I wasn't. And I cried calling my parents all the time, and they let me leave early. So started on a high, this story, ended on a low. Crunch, crunch.
So I just learned that the longest sentence written by a monkey was written by a monkey named Nim Chimpsky. The sentence was, give orange, me, give eat orange, me eat orange, give me eat orange, give me you. Do we think that Noam Chomsky knows who Nim Chimpsky is?
Hey, VLD, I'm listening to this week's episode, and I get a text from my sister-in-law, and she said that she's taking the kids to see Meghan Trainor tonight. The kids are 4 and 6. So whatever that means, I will report back on how much they enjoyed it. Okay, good for Ballthorn, crunch, crunch, showing whole. Bye.
Hi, Lindsay Bobby. I am just calling as your chicken salad chick correspondent from the greater Nashville area. I realized I had never been to a chicken salad chick after listening to your episode, so I brought it up to my husband, who actually had in fact been to one. So he suggested we go while we were running errands on Saturday, and we did. And I don't think, based on your description of your meal, that you ate it in situ in the chicken salad chick. So I do want to let you know what you were missing in the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom before we left. I had 4 signs, and this is the one I want to read. If your husband or boyfriend brought you here today and you have a question about how much he loves you, ... let us put it into perspective for you. There are plenty of barbecue joints in the area. He is sitting here amongst a sea of flowers, linen, and salads. Now get that broccoli out of your teeth, feel gorgeous, and have a great day with that rock star. So I went back outside to my husband and I said, I know you had no intention of going to the bathroom before we left, but I need you to do some reporting on what the signs in the men's restroom say. And there are 4 signs in the men's restroom of similar tenor, but I will just read this one. Gentlemen, ... The porcelain pigs, rusty pails, and washboard decor at your barbecue joints don't threaten our femininity. So we don't think it is too much to ask of you to say the stupid names and sit in a few flowers for an hour. Thank you for understanding. It means a lot to us. Anyway, I had the one with the onions, which is problematically called the Dixie Chick, but it was indeed delicious, and we will be going back. Thanks. Crunch, crunch.
I also wanted to call and tell you that Anna Delvey did something similar during the pandemic where if you subscribe to her Patreon, she was like, what do you get if you subscribe to my Patreon? You got the opportunity to be able to buy like a NFT or something like that. Like it was like a similar type of scam, and it was so silly and crazy. And then also per the Helena Bonham Carter thing, is there's this famous Goya portrait of this woman naked, and they were like, we think this might be like this famous princess, and it would be so crazy if Goya painted this like princess naked. So they dug this princess up and measured her bones to see if they're the correct ratio. But it turns out what happened was he painted the princess, but he just imagined her naked. Anyway, so crazy. Kind of reminds me of the Helena Bonham Carter thing of like they're trying to kind of not manufacture a scandal, but the painting could imply a scandal. And so then it kind of generates its own hype like this Goya portrait. Okay, crunch, crunch.
Hi, Lindsay and Bobby. I'm a little behind, and I just heard you guys talking about laundry and how much Lindsay hates it and Bobby loves it.
And I have to say, I also love doing laundry because that is almost exclusively the time when I listen to your podcast. So I get a little fun treat of hearing Who Weekly when I get to do laundry. So that's all. I'll be a youngin'. Crunch, crunch.